Remember, Saturday, September 21st, the Picture Perfect Event Center, Jackson, Tennessee. Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame ceremony comes to Jackson for the first time ever. The Rivalry of the Ages presentation to Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee. Also, Handsome Jimmy Valiant, the Rock and Roll Express, Danny Davis, and tons more. Exclusive meet and greet at 3:30. Event to follow. Go to MemphisWrestlingHallOfFame.com to purchase tickets. Saturday, September 21st, Picture Perfect Event Center, 2310 North Highland, Jackson. A night to remember.
Talking Memphis Wrestling with Randy Hill and special guests.
We are going to get right to it. Hello, Randy Hill's here, and this is Talking Memphis Wrestling. It was 30 years ago. It was March the 7th, 1994, 30 years ago this year, that I created the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame. I was telling through text our special guest today that it's been 25 years since I've promoted a major wrestling event that will promote in Jackson, Tennessee in September the 21st, a night to remember. I'm nervous on this show. BC Collins from the Carolinas in the house. Sharon's in the house. Jeremy Gibson from Evansville, Indiana. Al Tuttle from Georgia. PJ Jantine from over the pond from Thailand is watching this international show. This show, believe it or not, somebody will be in here in a few minutes that I have a lot of respect for. My friend Nightmare Danny Davis. I am a little, no, that's a lie. I am very nervous because there's pressure on me because this guy's don't do podcasts at all. We're his first, and I'm honored, and I have a theory why he agreed to do it a little later. It's not because I'm so good looking, or it's not because he likes me so much, because we always big buddies, but it's been 20 years since we've seen each other. We're going to do, because we have right now just Michael St. John in the room, not Pat Trammell. He'll join later. We're going to call Michael St. John for unusual first take, and I want to get to our guests right away, but I'm going to ask you a question, Michael St. John. First of all, how are you surviving from your eye surgery, your cataract surgery yesterday? The second thing, I want you, and Pat Trammell is here, so we'll do two first takes before we get to the guests. Just real quick, tell me about, sum up in a few words, the career of Danny Davis, and tell us about your eye.
Well, first of all, thank you for asking about the eye. The eye is in great shape. I got the mask off today, went to the doctor. I'm 20/20 in my right eye. I was scheduled for left eye surgery on the 10th of October. It has been moved up to next Monday. And this one went so well, the doctor said, let's get this out of the way and get you seeing straight. I'll tell you, it's a big difference. And anybody that has been through it knows what I'm talking about. Anybody that has to go through it, fear not. It is a surgery that you can't enjoy every surgery, but it is a surgery that you won't worry about because you're in good hands. And I'm telling you, the product that comes out of it, seeing and being able to see clearly for the first time, really since I was 8 years old, is absolutely amazing. Danny Davis, we could write a book. In fact, I'm surprised he hasn't. And what a great career. What a great guy. One of the early folks I got to work with Goulas Welch Wrestling back in the day. He was Sergeant Danny Davis, as I remember him originally, and we had some great times, rode buses, rode cars down the road. One of the finest people that has ever stepped into the wrestling ring. Great wrestler, but I'm talking about genuine, bona fide people. One of the best ever. Thrilled to death that he's on the show with us tonight.
Great comments coming in right now. The director of financing and the financial advisor, the man that lives in Birmingham, Alabama, where our guest was over like Rover, want to bring into the show right now for his first couple of memories of the career of Danny Davis. Afternoon, Pat Trammell.
Hello to everybody. Good to be here. My first take is the excitement continues to build for the 21st, and I am really, really excited. As you said, yes, Danny Davis had a fantastic run in Birmingham a long time ago, and people, and they're very few. Uh, Danny Davis comes to mind. Jerry Jarrett comes to mind. Jeff Jarrett comes to mind. People who were outstanding in the ring and went on to get in the business in a promoter standpoint. Danny, of course, with the groundbreaking OVW, who Randy partnered with the groundbreaking Power Pro and did so much of the together, and swap talent and all that stuff. It is just, I'm excited for him to be here. As you know, I consider myself and love history, and the history of our great sport is something that I treasure on this show, and I treasure off this show, and this is like having a living legend with
All
us.
right.
Very
First
exciting.
of all, before we bring the guest in, I want, while he's in the backstage area, I want him to look at this microphone right here that I'm holding my hand, and I want him to just think in his head where this microphone came from. So this is a number one on Stump the Nightmare. We have another Stump the Nightmare coming up a little later on, and I might get him on both. This microphone. Put the Hall of Fame graphic back up here. Man, with great honor, as I've said, 30 years ago, I came up and created the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame. In one of the earlier matches that night, I don't know if he remembers doing it because he rode to town with my friend Joe Wheeler that night on Monday night for Monday Night Memories in 1994. He was one of the early matches, and he saw the very first Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame. A couple of days earlier on television, the first inductee was the great Sam Bass. That night, the two featured people for the Hall of Fame was the great Lancer, Lance Russell, and the Diamond Ring Cadillac man, Sputnik Monroe. You see the graphic. This is coming from his hometown. This is making it so special. I've got chills thinking about it. I've got chills because we've tried to make this happen before. It wasn't meant to be, and we know now why it wasn't meant to be. There is no better place on God's green earth to do the induction ceremony than the Nightmare Danny Davis at the Picture Perfect Event Center in good old Jackson, Tennessee on September the 21st. Tickets going fast. We'll have throughout the show a poster with a QR code. You can get your tickets now. Get the VIP tickets, the front row tickets. They are going quick. And Lamar, watching from YouTube, says wrestling is better off having Danny Davis's contributions. Amen, for sure. For the very first time, I am thrilled to death to welcome from Clearwater, Florida these days. He's figured it out, and he's live. Hey, Danny Davis, welcome to Talking Memphis Wrestling.
Well, hello, Randy. Long time no see. Looks like you're doing well, and thank you very much for having me on your program tonight.
Where's this microphone from, Danny?
That microphone looks like it looks like it may have sit at the announce table at the Mid-South Coliseum on Monday nights, and matter of fact, I may have picked it up a time or two and whack somebody over the head with it.
Hey, I did not stump you. You're right. Randy West, several months ago, Randy and I are best of friends, and
Yeah.
we talk every day. And he was going through his old office and found this, and he mailed it to me. And this is one of my most prized possessions for sure.
But you know the history behind the mouth that sat on that and talked through that microphone for so many years. That is a prized possession, and you should never get rid of it, Randy. That is awesome.
I wouldn't sell it for any amount of money. Let's get right into this, and
Yes, sir.
folks, Danny might be lagging a little bit behind connection wise, but catches up real quick. So if there's a pause between my question and his answer, that is why. Frank Seaton, Arkansas buddy of mine, a Jonesboro High School buddy of mine, even though Frank is older than me, Danny, believe it or not, I'm 62 and he's older. He says, remember Danny was the manager of Lawler in his first match against Andy Kaufman, and that's on my notes, and we'll get to it a little later. Appreciate everybody making their comments. Jackson, Tennessee. I want to know, Danny Davis, we're going to go way back. Your
All right.
first memories of watching wrestling. Let us smarten us up. First memories of you becoming a wrestling fan. Pat Rose in the house saying hello to Danny Davis. Danny is froze up a little bit, and I think he's about to come in. So let's see, Danny. Lauren Palmer says, "How great to see Danny. Much love."
Randy, you're cutting out the audio. I'm not out to hear you, but I think the answer to that is yeah, Jackson, Tennessee. Okay. Hey, yeah. Good those.
You answered the story about Jackson, Tennessee. That's great. This will blow your mind. I hope you can hear me. I did a Google search, and you won't believe this. Jackson, Tennessee is now at 68,000 people population. My hometown, Jonesboro, Arkansas. Don't pass out, Danny. Now 83,000 people in Jonesboro, Arkansas. We're bigger than Jackson.
Holy cow. Now that surprises me because I remember every Saturday night going there, for wrestling at Jonesboro, and good grief, cannot believe that. It was just a small country town, and it's got more folks than Jackson, Tennessee. That's amazing. That is amazing.
That is crazy. And go ahead and put Michael Bryant's. No, that's not the one. The one earlier from his that said he was his nephew, or maybe did you get that one, Adam? There was one. Okay, it might not be a nephew. Can you see that comment? It says from Richard, my uncle Danny. Then congratulations on the Hall of Fame from the next door neighbor kid that rated your gear with Josh. Do you know who that is?
Yes, my nephew Josh, Richard and Josh are best friends, and I gave a lot of my gear to. I think they messed around with some wrestling a few years ago, and they used a lot of my gear. Yep.
That is pretty cool. Now, aren't you impressed?
Thank you.
This show and now,
Richard.
Michael Bryant is the Nightmares super underrated, and their teamwork and style led many tag teams to copy them.
I hate that.
What now?
I'm having some audio issues, I'm not hearing you. Probably just
All right,
me.
we'll make it through it. Make it through it for sure. Here's a question from Richard Hood, and I know the answer. He says, Danny, you can see on the screen, Danny,
Yep.
are you still training?
Unfortunately, no. I sold my company in 2018. I'm no longer in the the business. I actually haven't watched any wrestling or even really talked wrestling since I retired in 2018. So this is, you know, this is kind of refreshing for me. And when Randy reached out and asked me, if I wanted to do this, there's no way I was going to tell him no. So, but no, I am retired. But thank you for asking.
Very good. Now we talked about growing up in Jackson. The next question is, how did you get interested as a fan, or did you directly right away say, I want to be a wrestler? How did you become a wrestling fan?
Okay, so growing up in that little town called Bemis, Tennessee, my mother and I used to watch wrestling. Because Jackson had a local wrestling show, and we would watch that. And then, we were able to watch wrestling out of Memphis, Tennessee, and so as a young boy, that's how I, you know, you know, got introduced to wrestling.
Adam has
And actually, my mom, she loved wrestling on TV, and so it's quite a and actually living in a town called Collierville. My mother called me one day and said, "Hey, there's a Sun newspaper says anybody wanting to learn to wrestle, hey, meet back at Coliseum at I don't know like 6 p.m." So I drove to Jackson, Tennessee on this Saturday night, and when I pulled up, there was probably 100 guys and gals out back, and Buddy Fuller, who was local, was there, and some other picked about a half a dozen males. He happened to be one of them, and then we they put it in that night, and it was quite amusing. And from there, I was told that if I wanted to learn how to be a professional wrestler, Buddy Fuller was going to be opening a training school in Bolivar, Tennessee, which is about 30 miles south of Jackson, Tennessee. And so I stayed in touch with Buddy, and um, ended up going to this training school, and that's about an hour conversation. So I'll have to end it right there at that. At some point, if you want to, revisit it, we can revisit it.
All right, we're going to go right now with co-host Pat Trammell. He has a question for you right now. Then before we move along with my questions and get into the video, then Michael has some stuff to say. So we'll start with Pat, Danny's response, then to Michael, then back to me.
Danny, I don't know if you can hear. I've been working on the chat, but interestingly, I know all about Bemis, Tennessee, because my mother grew up in Bemis, and I know there was a cotton mill there in Alabama. So we have some ties that way. And when you got in with Buddy Fuller and all that, how long was it before you had your first match? And when did you know, yes, this is what I'm going to do?
Yep, the Bemis Cotton Mill. That's the town was named Bemis after that cotton mill. The owners. Yep. I'm real sorry, but I'm
I tag,
who are out there tuning in. I apologize. I don't know what's going on. I'm in the dark, just like you.
It's
No,
good. It's good now.
yeah, and this is not the first time this has
Okay,
happened.
good. Maybe I need to shut up. Maybe I need to.
No, talk a lot, real quick.
That's great.
Yeah. So
Once again, live is
questions.
live.
Anybody got any questions?
We're going to let's see real quick if Michael St. John has some questions.
Well, first of all, Danny, it's great to see you again. You haven't changed a bit. We've all changed, but you haven't changed a bit. You've had such a great career.
Look, I'm 3 days older than dirt, Michael. Come on. I have changed.
Oh,
but I appreciate the compliment.
Well, you and I started out. You came to Nick Goulis's territory with the team of Wayne Ferris, Larry Latham.
Bombers. Yep.
And we had
that was in 1979, or was it 78?
It was 78, and you joined us in 78, and you guys really were a breath of fresh air to the whole territory and drew money. And both of the folks that you were the manager of went on to have tremendous illustrious careers. And you yourself, I knew when I met you that you were one of the brightest bulbs in the shed for sure. And for you to go forward and go into the management, into the promoting,
you were different.
It was amazing.
We were different.
Danny, explain to me who trained you and how did you get booked on Memphis Television, Channel 5? Tell that story.
Randy, I'm sorry, you could not hear you. What did you say? Not hear you, Randy.
All right. Who trained you? Who trained you, and how did you get booked on Channel 5 the first time?
Buddy Fuller started training us, but he had hired a young man, Terry Sawyer, who was, I was told at the time, all of us who went through that training school was told that he was an Olympic wrestler, great amateur wrestler, but he both of those gentlemen trained 14 of us who started this school. 5 guys actually completed it, and only one guy survived it in the business. That was the smallest guy there, and that was me. And I got introduced to Jerry Jarrett, Jerry Lawler, and Bill Dundee. Buddy Fuller took us down and introduced us and said, "Hey, if you need any of these guys here, they just come out of the wrestling school in Bolivar. They're happy to help you." So we didn't get to work a lot, but I was allowed to come to the TV taping every Saturday morning and sit in the back, and I kept my mouth shut. I watched and I learned, and so that's how I got introduced to everybody at the Memphis taping.
All right, great answer there, and I'm glad you lead into what I'm doing next because you mentioned Olympian Terry Sawyer. This is a TV match in 1979. This is Sergeant Danny Davis against highlights of Barry Sawyer, and we'll get that. And by the way, Danny, while we're playing this match, Adam is going to give you a phone call, and we'll kind of walk you through connecting again to see if we can get a better connection. So answer your phone when we shoot for this video. We watched it before we went on the air. This is Terry Taylor, Sergeant Danny Davis, Channel 5 Wrestling. A hell of a match from 1979.
I'll wrestle you right here today in these pants.
Well, hey, let me
got
say,
any kind of guts
look,
about
I
you, boy?
tried to give
Get
you
up
some
there.
character. I tried to teach you a little bit of character. I didn't even come dressed to wrestle.
I didn't either. Look at me. I'm not dressed to wrestle. I'm not dressed to wrestle. You got any guts about you, boy? Get up there and wrestle me. You want to wrestle with me? Come on, sit back, Wonder.
Let him have his shot. We'll find out if Sawyer can still wrestle.
Okay, how about you sitting up here with me, buddy, and in the ring, Danny Davis, and this is an unscheduled one, but you got to see this guy, Terry Sawyer, for those of you who do not know him. He was on our 1916
Michael, when have you
Olympic
seen
team
wrestling
in
like
Mexico,
this?
And let me tell you what.
Last time this match was shown on this show,
That's
honestly,
that's what we were talking about early. It just
He was scrapping with him.
amazing.
There's just too much knowledge.
Danny, Adam tried to call you and you didn't answer the call, so he will try again right now. So if you would have your phone ready, and Adam, go ahead and call Danny again. Pat, do you like this type of amateur type of wrestling?
Oh, man, this is as good as it gets right here.
Right on top of him. Kicking Danny in the hindquarters.
you know, this is rare footage. This is very rarely you see Buddy Fuller on the Memphis show.
I've never seen this before,
Danny
obviously.
now, you have to remember, he went 4 months to the school and he's wrestled for a year, so
That's
he's no
typical
pushover.
right there. Now, I don't know whether you've seen Danny.
Is that Buddy
He slams
talking?
him in the face. He can't wrestle
That's
him.
Buddy Fuller
Sawyer
talking, yes.
do a little fighting of his own when he wants to. You better believe that.
And here comes the Blonde Bombers
Hey, come on, the Bombers. All right.
as Danny is talking on the phone to Adam right now. After this match is over, we'll come back. Here comes Buddy. Look at this comeback. And Danny was discussing how the Hills were trying to get on it, and Buddy Fuller is the baby face. He's making them work for it, Michael. He's making them work for it. He finally clears the ring right there. Finally clears the ring.
And then that boy, that's the typical jump on and then the rescue. That is excellent. And Buddy Fuller just showed why he's probably one of the unsung heroes of that era. We hear a lot about him and his proteges, his sons, and Ron and Robert. We don't talk about Buddy as much as we should, because back in those days, he was one of the enforcers, if you will, much like Herb Welch, one of the enforcers that would come in and literally do what he just did. He's an incredible. We should do a show about Buddy one night, because he's an incredible talent for his era.
We're going to bring Danny Davis. He's back on the phone right now with producer Adam Dunn. So we'll get Pat's comments right now about that. Was just absolutely excellent. We're going to stump the nightmare next, folks. Go ahead, Pat.
I don't think 5 guys that are on TV in the next 3 days can do a match like that. Any of them. I mean, that is just great stuff right there. That is great stuff.
Just absolutely unbelievable. Folks, we'll have throughout this show, you will get a chance to see Danny Davis inducted in the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame on September the 21st. There is, not many, but there is, in this great night, September the 21st in Jackson, Tennessee. All you have to do, once the poster comes up on the screen, and throughout the show, it will scan the QR code, and we'll fix you up as you can purchase your tickets or go to MemphisWrestlingHallOfFame.com. Man, big show today. I'm so excited. And again, when you deal with the internet, Michael's great internet, Pat has upgraded his, I've upgraded mine, and that's just one of the things we have to deal with. But to have Danny on here, Michael, is absolutely a thrill of a lifetime.
Well, the fact of the matter, too, is that he doesn't do many of these. In fact, he does very few. And just to have him, and the one thing I think Danny has been through his career is, I think he just explained, he came up with a local bunch of talent. He was the only one that survived and made it into the bigs, if you would. And I think the one thing that Danny has done over the years is, I think so many young wrestlers look up to him. I don't want to say he's the godfather of talent development, but by golly, this man has trained more successful wrestlers than we could start naming right now, and probably go off the air still naming him. He's an incredible talent. I love his mind. And I've got a couple of stories later on when we get this connection straightened out I want to bring up to Danny. But I'll tell you, and just working with him early on, I sort of saw it. We always had intelligent conversations. He was always very, very forthcoming, very helpful, not only to the boys, but to me as well. And I think he just continued that trend right through his entire career.
So we'll see, because I can't tell if Danny's frozen up or not. He is not moving. If Adam can give me a private chat and let me know what the status is right now with Danny. There you see. He's in Clearwater, Florida. The Nightmare Danny Davis, as he had said, he was trained by going to the Buddy Fuller Wrestling School, and we will pause and see. Danny, can you hear me?
I can. I don't think you can see me. Hello.
Yes. Oh, you're frozen, but we see you and we can hear you great. Can you see us?
Yes, I can see you.
I want to play.
I can see you, but
All right, we are going to play Stump. We're going to play Stump the Nightmare right now. I'm going to post a picture right here. That's me in my Crystal t-shirt. Danny, if you can see this picture, I want you to guess who this is.
Randy, I don't know if you can hear me, but I see the picture. I don't know when that picture was taken, but my first thought is it's Blonde Bomber Larry Latham, Larry Booker. That's my first thought. I said I don't know how old this picture is, but that's who that looks like to me.
No, wrong. Guess again. Do you want me to give you a hint? I can give you a hint or two.
Yes, give me a hint.
Okay. I'll give you 3 hints.
Okay.
When you knew this guy, it was 1980, 1981. He, like me, is from Jonesboro, Arkansas. He, like me, is a Jonesboro, Arkansas class.
Oh my God! That's my first tag team partner, David Oswald. There's no way. There's no way that's David Oswald. No, he had short, dark hair. No way. Oh, who is it? Who is it?
That is That is Don Oswald and Joanne Oswald's baby brother. That is the first nightmare partner you had. That is, and he's watching at home about 5 miles from here. He's watching this show right now. David Oswald, Nightmare David Oswald is watching, and I stumped you, but you got it.
Yeah, well, I mean, man, hey, hello, David. It's been many years. I hope you and your family are doing well. But man, you sure look different. Oh, I mean, Randy, if you'd have given me $1 million, I'd have never thought that ever that would have been David Oswald. No way. That's Larry Latham. If there ever was a picture of Larry Latham.
No, that is David Oswald for sure, and I'm on him, Danny. You can help me with something right now. You didn't know I was doing
Okay.
this, but I am trying to really push for David's son Christopher. Give Christopher a plug to come
Yeah.
to bring ride with David to Jackson on February the 21st, and
You mean September?
September the 21st, and set at the Nightmare Danny Davis merchandise table. Help me sell that to him right now, Danny.
Hey, come on! You gotta drive your dad up. You gotta drag him up there because I haven't seen him since 1980. I don't know. David, I got to see you. You got to come. You have to do it. I'm coming up from Florida, so I got further to drive than you do. So, man, you got to come up. I got to see you. Got to see you.
Absolutely unbelievable, and I surprised him with that. So, how about that angle, Pat Trammell? You like hearing wrestling terms?
Yeah.
What about the angle I just shot on Danny Davis?
I tell you what, that's great. It's great to see old friends like that, and particularly from the business. I'm sure you all know better than I do. But that was a great moment for me, for sure.
Real quick, I want to go to another. Danny's still popping over that. This is live as live can be. Audio is great now. The video, not so much, but we're okay with that right now. You've seen Danny, and you can see a frozen shot of him. But I want to go to 1981. I want to go to a big brawl that involves Wayne Ferris and his tag team partner, and that person is the late Kevin Sullivan that just passed away, against Southern Tag Team Champions Bill Dundee and the Dream Machine, and a whole lot of people got involved in this deal, no doubt about it. This is 2 hours worth of video we'll get out of it after the first deal. Danny has not seen this in 40 years. We watch now Jim Cornette's favorite deal ever done in Louisville, Kentucky, as we watch now. This is classic. Apologize, this is 40-year-old video. Do you remember this, Danny?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Wow. I can't believe you have this footage. That is amazing.
This was shown in Louisville on May the 30th. So the Tuesday before that. The Tuesday before that is when this aired in 1981, Danny.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Jim Cornette talks about Jerry Jarrett's booking in this, and now we see Dundee and the Dream Machine down, and as we do these roll-ins or run-ins, I want you to discuss it again. All kinds of chaos right now with heat. As Adam is saying, Danny, press the button to turn the camera off. So it's the camera button. Turn it off. It's the one that looks like a camera beside the speaker. Turn it off.
Yeah.
Turn it back on.
Okay.
Explain.
Wow. There's Lawler coming in and apparently making the save for his team, you know. But best I can remember, something else happens here.
Absolutely. So the Hills was getting heat, and here comes David Oswald and Danny Davis. Speak of that. Here you come. So it went heat, come back with Lawler. Now the Nightmare's out, so heat again. Explain to the brilliance of the booking here, Danny.
Randy, I wish the video is not cut across. It's like it's almost like stuck. So it's obviously my video my internet connection, because it's not the greatest.
So now I will explain it. You had
Yes.
the Nightmares, then other people have come in. Lawler is throwing hearts throwing powder. Michael, you do the. Go ahead, Danny.
I saw the late great Kevin Sullivan there, and because if I remember correctly, this was like a 2-ring battle royal that night, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and
now,
so that was me that I believe went over the top rope. But that's Dutch Mantell right there. He come in and helping his teammates out. But if you listen to the reaction of the fans, that was real. The reaction is real. They have sunk their teeth into it, and they are buying everything that's happening. Nowadays, they don't do that.
No, sir.
They're throwing babies in the air, as Jimmy would say.
There you go. This right here was one of the very best. I have paired off with Jerry Lawler back there, I believe, and he and I are getting ready to go. If I remember correctly, it's been many years. If I remember correctly, we're going to go upstairs in those empty bleachers, and I believe Jerry Lawler is going to take a tumble down those. I could be ahead of myself, but if that's the case, then my memory is still good after all these years.
Jimmy Hart is going crazy here.
Yes, he is.
Dundee single-legged him. Great talent here. Dream Machine, Dutch Mantell, Lawler, Dundee, Ferris, Latham, and the Nightmares. And we're getting back as they're up, and there's the bump. There's the bump.
There it is. There it is. I nailed Lawler, and he went tumbling down. So, yep. Guys, the good old days. I remember those days.
Frank Seaton, watching from Arkansas, says the reaction are real right now. It's just what
video is starting to freeze up a little bit.
Right. As not much time left in it, as they continue, as the crowd is just out of its mind, as they escape from safety, and the good folks are fighting them back to the back. For sure. As Frank Seaton says, Lawler could have been a stunt man in Hollywood. Do you agree with that, Danny?
Yeah.
I'm exhausted all over again.
All right,
Yes. So,
let's come out of that.
pretty,
And let's,
Randy, I have not seen that footage in all those years. I've never seen all those years. That's amazing. That's just absolutely amazing. Thank you for bringing that memory to me. That was really awesome. That was awesome.
hey, you need to thank your partner David Oswald, because at breakfast this morning at McDonald's, I was telling him that I had this show lined up, and I was telling him the one video, and I don't want to expose something, but you told me you don't do YouTube. David Oswald, your partner, does YouTube, and he found it for me, and that's how you're able to see it.
Oh.
So don't thank me, thank David Oswald.
Thank you, David Oswald. And when you come to Jackson, Tennessee, at the Hall of Fame induction ceremony on Saturday night, September the 21st, I'm going to give you a big hug. And if you don't show up, I'm going to follow Randy back to Jonesboro. I'm going to give you a big punch. Okay?
Hey, another thing, your video was frozen when I showed the picture, and I won't, because I think seeing it again, I want you to react. This is your old partner, the first nightmare with you. This is David Oswald. Let's see Danny's reaction.
Yeah, I'm telling you, when I saw that, I just could not believe it. I could not believe that was David Oswald, because he looked just like Larry Latham, Larry Booker, and I couldn't believe it. I'd have never guessed it in a million years. Hey, did you do you know how the Nightmares got the Nightmares?
No, I don't. Share that with Pat, Michael, Adam, me, and
I can tell you.
Go ahead.
If you'd like to know.
Yes, sir.
Well, are we friends?
No.
Jerry told me, hey, Danny, hey, we need to David Oswald, and he said both of you are great. We're gonna do this thing right, but we need to come up with a name for your team. And I said, okay, who are we going to be working against? And he said, we're going to be working against Bill Dundee and the Dream Machine. My immediate reply was, what's the opposite of a dream? He said, a nightmare. I said, that's your name, the Nightmares. That's how that came about.
That is fantastic. For a follow-up on the picture and a follow-up on the video, we'll go with Michael and Pat and back to Danny for reactions.
Well, you've heard mine. I mean, like I said, Danny, you hit it on your head. The fans don't react that way. The boys don't put on that kind of perform a show or a wrestling match. It's almost like between the territories dying and the birth of the superpowers of the WWE and to a certain extent WCW, and then of course now with AEW, that we have lost something in translation of how to put on a match, how to sell it to the fans.
Well, it's real simple. It's not hard. It's plain. It's just like plain and simply this: you have good versus bad, and then that's all it is. But when you've got the holy shit moments, and you've got all the things, nobody reacts. Nobody actually makes people believe that what just happened hurts. It's just like they're just like machines. They just go and go, and they don't punch. They don't sell the moment that you're in, But here's the thing: if their production manager says don't do this, don't do that. You got to do what they say. You know, you work for them. But I'm telling you, even though the world knows pro wrestling is now, you could go back to the old days where people would react just like those people, because you could get them to believe it. It's not hard to do. It really isn't. But it's a different it's a different different day.
Once on TV, I've got a great quote from a man that was one of my mentors in radio, and the quote was, "If you shoot too much, if you throw out there too much, and you don't let it matriculate, don't let it settle into to people, people lose the whole meaning." But his comment on that was always, "What happens? What do you do for an encore when your first act is suicide?" And that's what we're seeing every week on these wrestling shows.
Yeah, well, that or train wreck. If it's a train wreck, what the hell? But you see, there's an expression amongst us old timers, and I don't know that it's even still around, but it's in the wrestling business. It's less is more. And you can ask, and I'm noticing something over here on the side of my screen about people chiming in. There's a lot of OVW guys that I trained many years ago. They're actually watching this and they're commenting, and I'm liking that. And but it's like they were taught that way, but yet when they left OVW and they went up north, it's like they had to do what they wanted and it was different. But if you know, Cornette and myself both, we had to beat our heads against the wall for many years dealing with what we believe to be the right way to train someone in the industry, as opposed to the entertainment wanted.
Now, Adam, I want you to keep that up there right now. Nate up there. Let's start with Nate first, as he just
see.
Oh, okay, that's good. Nate.
Are we still there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Nate still says, absolutely love you, Danny. Then let's go to the next comment, as I am trying to keep up with this. Chris Pierce is the nephew of the late singing cowboy Don Bass. He's saying he learned the business from Donnie. Less is more. Man just made a statement that should be on a loudspeaker in every room. Let's go with try to find more OVW people. As Stephen Allen says, I was at Louisville Gardens that night, section 15 at the top, started going to Louisville Gardens in 1978. Thanks to this man and his guidance, 20 years later, I was walking through the curtains. So speak to Steve Allen, Danny.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Stephen. Or as I remember you fondly as Vito. The end's ready. Thank you.
How about this comment from Nate Steele?
Yeah. Awesome. Good to hear you, my friend. Yes, and Rip, one of the best trainers you could ever ask for. Don't get any better than Rip Rogers. Bottom line.
Was an absolutely great trainer, and if you can find any more comments, and Danny.
Hey, Randy. Hey, Randy. I saw a name come up a while ago on there. It was from a lady, a beautiful young lady named Kim, and I just let her know that I believe I read it, and it said what was her favorite memories of growing up in of living in Gulf Breeze, Florida, and I'd like to reply to her if she's still on and say that it was helping raise my son and living with you, Kim, because Kim was my second wife, and her and my son used to take care of my merchandise table when we were working for Southeastern Championship Wrestling. So thank you, Kim. I appreciate what you said, and I love you too.
Let's go ahead, Adam, if we can find Kim's thought. We'll go to Pat right now. Throw to Pat. We have a lot to unpack. First of all, that wild and crazy brawl I've never seen before. So Pat, your thoughts on that and your thoughts, just, we have a lot to get to, but your thoughts here. Let's go with this. This is Kim's comment exactly. Danny, I want you to read this comment. Danny Davis, read the
Okay.
comment on the screen.
I hope you have a video of the nightmares with Ken Wayne and Danny in Birmingham. Danny won an IROC Z Camaro in one of those matches. I was lucky enough to create other merchandise sold during that time. And it's true, Kim did that. And how do I know it's true? Because I was a wonderful lady, very talented artist, and wonderful to my kids. I want you to know. Thank you, Kim. Wonderful. That one posted on your Facebook page. He sent you that page.
Let's go ahead. A fan posted this on my Facebook page. This is the picture that Danny was just talking about. He sold at the merchandise fan, and I told him to watch the show today. So Matt, Danny Davis realizes right now, remembers the car, obviously, and Danny, that car you told me was paid for by that merchandise stand.
That is exactly correct. That picture you just showed, if you look right here, that's the picture.
All right, man, that's unbelievable.
Small world.
Throw it back to Pat real quick. One question, Pat, and we'll get to Michael.
Well, one of the things, and Danny, you've had probably the varied career of anybody I know, and I'm really excited to hear you talk a little bit about the developmental work you've done, which I don't know anybody that's done more for the business. And that, if you'd never spent a count in the ring, but my first memory of you, believe it or not, was with the Galaxians in the 90s. And I bet I'm the only person on here that remembers that.
Well, now, but the Galaxians were in 1983 or early 84.
See, I thought that, okay.
If my memory serves correctly, the Galaxians were the first tag Jim Cornette managed.
All right.
You are correct. You are absolutely correct.
That was
well. But
I think in 1980.
Yeah, but I remember you when you came to WCW.
I say that because I was wrestling in Calgary at the time. Jerry Lawler called me, and he wanted to put a tag team together. And so you left Calgary and came. Yep.
Well, the first time I remember you was at the Galaxians in WCW, and that was 89 or 90. I think.
Yeah, but you're exactly right. We had done the Nightmares before that, but when we weren't working, for Continental or whatever, we would dress up as the Galaxians and go do that in WCW. Yes, you're exactly right.
Okay.
You're exactly right.
That's not the first time I remember you, but I remember obviously the Nightmares, but I remember you as the Galaxians too.
Hey, now
that's exactly right. You were right. Yep.
I want to butt in real quick because I told you earlier in the show that this is the first online interview that Danny has ever done. And I'm going to tell you, it's not because he loves me. It's not anything else. Danny's like me. I'm a wrestling guy, and Danny Davis is a wrestling guy, no doubt about it. So the reason Danny Davis agreed to come on this show He's like me. He wants any wrestling event he's a part of. He wants to draw money. I want to draw money. And Adam, I want to go to that commercial one more time and want to play the commercial for Night to Remember. Get your tickets now for Night to Remember, September the 21st, and we play that commercial right now. Back in 30.
Remember, Saturday, September 21st, the Picture Perfect Event Center, Jackson, Tennessee. Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame ceremony comes to Jackson for the first time ever. The Rivalry of the Ages presentation to Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee. Also, Handsome Jimmy Valiant, The Rock and Roll Express, Danny Davis, and tons more. Exclusive meet and greet at 3:30. Event to follow. Go to MemphisWrestlingHallOfFame.com to purchase tickets. Saturday, September 21st, Picture Perfect Event Center, 2310 North Highland, Jackson. A night to remember.
All right, and I want to tell you the Night to Remember celebration of Memphis Wrestling. It's Saturday, September 21st, 2024. The meet and greet will take place at 3:30, followed at 7 o'clock by a tribute that we're calling the Rivalry of the Ages, Lawler against Dundee, and we will do the 2024 Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame inductions. This will be held at the Picture Perfect Event Center in Jackson, Tennessee at 2310 North Highland. You can, a little later on, we'll show the QR code, or you can go to MemphisWrestlingHallOfFame.com to get your tickets. They start at 25, 45, 65, and 75. Advance tickets, MemphisWrestlingHallOfFame.com, the meet and greet that will have all the Hall of Fame inductees: Tommy Rich, Doug Gilbert, Coco Ware, Downtown Bruno, Cousin Carl Fergie, referee Jerry Calhoun, Pat Rose, Kerry Morton, Ricky Morton's son, Tony Falk, LT Falk, Shane Russell will be in the house, Lance Russell's son, Reggie B. Fine, Doug Basham, the nephew of Danny Davis, Brandon Baxter. I'll be there. All Power Pro talent, all KAW talent. It will be a night to remember. Get your tickets now, because the VIP tickets won't last long. It will be a night to remember. That's the hard sell part of this show. And my question to Danny Davis is, Danny, do you think I learned something as far as how to pitch a wrestling, how to plug a wrestling card, promote a wrestling card? Do you think I might have learned a little bit from Lance Russell?
Hey, I think you probably learned and absorbed. Your brain was like a sponge. You soaked it all up, and you took every word he said and you turned it into something, because the promo you just did was as good as it gets. Lance is smiling down on you right now, I assure you.
What? And let me tell you this, and I think this is neat. You know, my old friend Brandon Baxter is going to co-host the Hall of Fame ceremony, and his co-host, I couldn't get Lance Russell, but I can get the second best thing. Shane Russell and Brandon Baxter will host that ceremony. Now, I want one last thing. I want to do this, Danny. I am going to have Adam go through the graphics of everybody in the Hall of Fame, and I want you to comment. And then when we get to your graphic, I want you to say how important it is for you to get inducted in your hometown. And you, MC, you're my host right now as we show these graphics, and 100% it's on you as we go to those graphics, Adam, right now. Danny?
Okay. Spellbinder, wow. And he was a young kid there. Great physique. I think he loved the gym. Probably still does. He had a lot of talent, but he didn't know how to develop it when I was there. But from time to time, I would take and he would come to me and ask me for advice, and I never refused anyone. But and he had a mind where he had a thirst for knowledge, and he wanted to learn. and he would ask me questions, and I would give him my best answer, that I thought would work for him and his physique and his size. So every individual is different, but Spellbinder, I was very, very proud of him. He turned out to be, I think a wonderful young man.
Next slide right now, and we will roll into
Oh!
Memphis PWA.
Oh my mercy! Let me tell you, back in the early days when he first come to Memphis, Tennessee, I was just breaking into business too, but I was on some of the trips. He would ride with me, and most of the time, Jimmy would sleep, and I would just drive us to the towns and whatnot. But he would talk, and he was very kind to me. Big star Jimmy was already before he got to Memphis. But to be inducted into the Hall of Fame right here, hey, it couldn't come better, because he main evented all over the country. But he told me in one of the trips that he liked Memphis, Tennessee. He really liked Memphis, Tennessee. And I think coming here and me being able to ride with him and make some trips, it was very educational to me. And for him to be inducted and being inducted right there in my hometown, I think that of Jackson, Tennessee, I think that's just a wonderful thing. I'm looking forward to seeing Jimmy Valiant.
All right, next slide as we look at the September 21st Hall of Fame class, and we're going to show a nightmare Rock and Roll Express match in a few minutes, Danny.
But probably the best singles tag, the best tag team there was the Rock and Roll Express. Those guys had everything. They were great. Kenny and I absolutely loved working with them. We were comparable in size, and we could kind of keep up with the pace that they wanted to go. And Robert and Ricky, both great individuals, great human beings, and they had, man, when they went to NWA, they skyrocketed. Into just fandom that you just can't comprehend. They were just something else. And for them to be inducted into the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame in Jackson, Tennessee on Saturday, September the 21st, I think is going to be an awesome thing. A lot of fans are going to be there to see them.
Fantastic event. You will see the stars of Power Pro Wrestling and KEW Wrestling, MCW Wrestling, a big night of action on September the 21st, Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame.com. And this guy, I don't know if you know him or not, Danny. Sir Mo of Galen Dimensions.
Now, if I believe this was Sir Mo, this was a guy who was tag team partners with the Big Man, and yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so I remember working with them a few times, and both of them were very kind, but Mo was just a wonderful human being to be around, and the fact that he is doing well and going to be inducted into the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame in Jackson, Tennessee, I think it's going to be good for him. Very good for him.
Moved well for his side. And now here's a guy, Danny. Do the honors.
Tony Anthony, the dirty white boy. Oh my gosh, I haven't seen Tony in many years. I absolutely love this guy. I love this guy. And when he and Lynn did in Tennessee, Ken and I working with him a lot. Say is, man, we used to make each other laugh, and just the way we did things in our matches. But Tony Anthony was just a wonderful, talented pro wrestler. I love him, and I can't wait to see him. Cannot wait to see him in Jackson, Tennessee on September the 21st. I'm so happy that he's getting inducted into the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame. Man, that's awesome.
Hey, how about these guys, Danny?
P13. I haven't seen Jamie in many years. I saw Wolfie thinking it was at Jerry Jarrett's funeral, and I what can I say? I worked with both of these guys many times. Jamie Dundee, when he was a little boy, he might have been 7 or 8 years old. I would come over to Bill's house, and we were talking, and Jamie would come in the room, and he would stand back, and he would look at me, and he'd look at us like, "What are you doing here? You just beat my dad up last night on TV." So it was really funny, but Jamie, man, and Wolfie, a great tag team. They were trendsetters, and I mean the gimmick they had for the time I thought was awesome. Hey, I love both those guys, and I'm looking forward to seeing them. Congratulations, guys, on the Hall of Fame. Awesome.
Next slide, please. And I don't know if you know this guy. He's my partner in the event. He's with KW Wrestling. He has so much passion for Memphis, and he provided, Danny, to Memphis a alternative to Channel 5 and ECW type of promotion, KW, Kick-Ass Wrestling, then MCW, nice. Terry Golden. Your thoughts on that?
Right. Well, honestly, I mean, I don't know Terry. It's probably my fault because I just never had the opportunity to meet him. But here's what I can say: he must be an important figure because he's being inducted into the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame, and that just doesn't happen to anybody. There has to be a reason for that. So, based on what you said, I think Terry's a good guy, and I'm very happy, and I'm looking forward to meeting him.
All right, Terry Golden in the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame. Next slide, please. How about this one, Danny?
Well, I still see Terry Golden up there. Oh my God, Tom, Dr. Tom Pritchard, man. If there were ever anyone in the pro wrestling business that I was close to and I loved like a brother that I'd never had, it was Tom. I absolutely admire him. I respect him for all the contributions he has made to the industry, all the talent that he has trained and mentored. I mean, it does not get any better than Tom Pritchard. Tom Pritchard is an awesome human being, someone who I dearly respect and I dearly care for, and I love him to this day like a brother I never had. So I can't wait. I haven't seen Tom in a couple of years, so I'm looking forward to seeing Tom in Jackson, Tennessee at the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame on Saturday, September 21st. God bless you, Tom.
It's a night to remember. And how about this one, Danny Davis?
Hey, the old guy, the guy who's older than me. Hey, that's pretty awesome. Hey, the voice of USWA. That's pretty awesome, Michael. I'm very happy for you. You've been around the business for many years, and you've been mentored, and you learned a lot from some very important individuals, and you've done well with it, and you have the perfect voice for it. And to coin a phrase from Jim Cornette, you got the perfect face for radio too. Yeah. that's a joke. And that's a joke. But hey, that's awesome. Congratulations, my friend.
Thank you, Danny. Thank you.
Well,
you Dr. Tom, that's the Hall of Fame this year is incredible because of the characters, the people that are behind the people that you're seeing in the Hall of Fame are just tremendous people. And I just love that.
Yes. I can't wait to see them and hug everyone. I just can't wait to see it.
We talked about it a few minutes ago. Our microphone will be hot, and I've changed the order. We talked about the Rock and Roll Express. We talked about the Nightmares. Yep. This is 1985. Let's watch this, and everybody's microphone will be hot, and I'm going to lay out. So, Michael, you, Pat, and especially Danny, and apparently we don't have audio in here, and so we got to fill the talk. This is the Nightmares without a mask, Danny. Do you remember this?
Oh, wow. Wow. No, I don't remember that. Wow. It wasn't very many times that we entered the ring without masks, that's for sure. Wow. So if that was 1985, then did we come back up here from Southeastern?
From Pensacola.
Yes. Okay.
And the Rock and Roll Express just came back, Danny, to Memphis from Bill Watts.
Okay, from Louisiana. Yeah. Okay.
Going against the Double R's, the Rock and Roll Express, Rick Morton and Robert Gibson.
Wow.
Jerry Calhoun, the referee.
Lance Russell is classic. Man, I love his commentary.
Right at ringside.
Hey, and that guy, Randy Hales, too.
Two very
All right.
teams. Rick and Robert have got the size advantage. Whoa! Wayne.
How much chemistry did you have with the Rock and Roll?
He was going to take Rick out of action right away.
I may be speaking out of turn, but I think as good as it gets.
No, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Michael and Pat, do you have anything to say about this match?
Well, those Rock and Roll Express guys could have made some money if they'd just been able to get over with the younger girls.
I always thought that the Nightmares were main event talent, and to see them in a main event with the Rock and Roll and in this match, it just proves my point. These are four guys that can go, and that's fantastic.
He was signaling to Danny, but they couldn't pull it off the way the Rock and Roll Express did. And the Nightmares. Whoa.
Danny, while we're talking, how is Bobby Fulton doing?
Robert right in behind with a
The last time I saw Bobby, he was doing okay.
Glad to hear that.
He's on the men's. Yeah, he's on the men's.
Jimmy Hart pulling his hair at ringside. Davis out on
Now, Danny, the Rock and Roll had a hell of a run in the NWA, as you said earlier, also with Bill Watts. Would you and your partner given anything if you could have worked with them there in a bigger territory?
the Nightmares keep double teaming, Randy.
That's true. Don't
Would we what? I'm sorry, I didn't get it all.
believe in professional wrestling, don't you think?
Would you have liked to work with the Rock and Roll for Bill Watts and also for the NWA?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We had opportunities to go work when Dusty was booking over there, but Ron Fuller, down at Eastern, in Continental, we were just making too much money. We couldn't leave.
Right. Gotcha.
It was just in hindsight, we probably should have gone, but things were just too good,
I've heard Arn Anderson talk about what a great area and territory that was to work for. One, the money. Two, I think Ron was good to people, but two, you could get home at night.
Every night. The only night you were away from home was Friday nights. You had to drive, to a spot show and stay over and do Dothan TV the next morning.
Yeah.
A little better than 3.5 minutes in.
Off topic just a tad, and I don't want to get off too much. I'm excited to see Dr. Tom and Tony Anthony because that's one of my favorite Continental angles with White Girl. Yeah.
Yes.
I need to talk to Tom.
You obviously remember the night he hung Tom. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I need to talk to Tom. Yep.
Goes with a on Ken Wayne, who kicks him loose and out on the
Michael,
floor.
you don't see many matches these days like this where they devalued tag team wrestling.
Rick Morton run out of there
Oh, without
by
a
the
doubt. And
referee.
again, I'm going to stick by my first comment in that all four of these guys knew how to work. They knew how to go. They knew how to do high spots. It's not a train wreck. It's not a bunch of oh shit moments. It's not a bunch of oh wow moments. It's just plain old wrestling, the way it was meant to be.
Yes. And each one of us knew how to control the referee so that the heat that we were getting went where it was supposed to go.
Exactly.
Not
it
on the
wasn't
referee.
cheap heat. Yeah, exactly.
Nope.
It wasn't cheap
Nope.
heat. You know, Danny, when you were training and you and Jimmy had things going in OVW, I think that a lot of people fail to realize that you had some really good talent come through there, but you had a lot of young talent come in there that was pretty daggum green that you guys created and showed them the way it was done, and they went on. But that's sort of the last era for this kind of wrestling that we're watching.
Yes, some of them are still main eventing their big shows now. So, yeah, we had a good group of talent in OVW, and we knew how to utilize them.
Now, I like that move, the Boston Crab, and you reach out and tag your partner, double teaming the heat, but staying by the rules. You didn't bury the referee because you have a 5 count and you didn't violate that. Right?
Exactly. You know, I always thought as a heel, why would a heel want to put heat on the referee? You know, he's not in a match. You know, put it on yourself. See how the guy gets out of there. The referee turns around and there's no heat on him. So yeah, it just never made sense to me. What they do nowadays, they don't know how to use the referee.
Here's another thing, Danny, that I think you'll pop on. You see the great referee job by Jerry Calhoun. Jerry Calhoun, a member of the 2019 Hall of Fame, he will see you in Jackson, Tennessee on September the 21st. Calhoun will be there.
Oh my God, that is great. That is great. Oh man, he refereed so many of my matches. He was so good. He was so good. He, you know, just a lot of talent there with Calhoun. A lot of talent. I can't wait. That's awesome, man. We need to hurry up and get to September 21st. I want to see these guys. Man, you know, I don't think I've seen this match since this took place in 1985.
So what you're saying, me watching that wild brawl from Louisville and watching this match was worth the time that you're devoting to be on this show today, correct?
Oh, good Lord, yes, absolutely. Just being able to say hello to you and to everyone else here, you know, I mean, is good enough for me. I mean, thank you for the opportunity.
As we are coming up on, I'm going to do some spoilers. We're 1 minute left in this match. As you will see, the pace. Look at this, the backbreaker to the top rope.
Ken Wayne going to come off and he misses him. Martin covers the referee. 1, 2, 3, tag.
Great little finish there.
8 minutes, 19 seconds. Very classy finish with Rick Martin getting out of the
And you know the great thing about that, guys, is both teams got over with the public there, the fans. Both teams got over.
Counted 1, 2, 3, and the winners, Rick and Robert,
yes.
the Rock and Roll Express.
One got the cheers, one got the boos. I actually saw Robert Gibson 2 days ago. He's looking forward to being there.
Michael, I have some rapid fire stuff for Danny in a few minutes, but you had a few things, so I'm going to turn the show over to to Michael for the next 7 or 8 minutes, and he will tell his story. Remember, Danny is a happily married man, so watch yourself because he can bury you too. Anyway, go ahead, Michael St. John.
No, I wouldn't listen. Danny is listen. Danny was one of the guys, and I remember working with him early on, so I learned a lot from him. So with much respect, Danny. One of the things you did early on is you did come to work for Nick in the territory,
Yes.
and you guys got over pretty quick, but and it led to bigger and better things. Can you give a little scenario of how that all came about?
Well, we had our run with Memphis, and then it was time for us to move up to Nick, I guess, to get some more seasoning, to get some learning our craft better, and which we did. Working for Nick was kind of it was completely different than working for Jerry Jarrett. You know what I mean? Because Nick was I don't know how to explain how Nick was, other than I think he flew by the seat of his pants, and he had a lot of people in his ear, and he would just, I think, go every which way the wind would blow as far as angles and whatnot. But I remember doing a TV taping in Chattanooga, Tennessee, one Saturday morning, and used to, when Nick would come through those doors and cross his arms, that, the referee would have to say, hey, it's time to do your thing. And, well, for whatever reason, the referee or somebody wasn't paying attention. And I'm on the outside of the ring doing what I'm doing. Well, Nick takes something. I don't know if he takes my helmet off. I can't remember. But he threw the thing at me. It's a good thing he missed me, because he was he was so mad he couldn't talk. He was Greek anyway. So Nick was he was an individual that I'd never met anybody like him, or his son George. It was just something. Hey, there's a story when I think it was every Saturday morning or Friday morning, Fridays, we used to go to the office at the fairgrounds to get our pays, right? And it would be in an envelope, and it was all in cash. Well, before I got mine, I'm sitting out there waiting, and I hear him in there giving somebody, just cussing them up one side and down the other, and talking about them, this, that, and the other. And he said, boy, I knew you when you thought kayfabe was a girl wrestler. Bada, 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 bing. It was Ronnie Gossett. Because Ronnie Gossett had sold some of Nick's territory to a lady, and she came in wanting to be part of the board meeting, and Nick goes, what do you mean? I don't have any partners. Oh boy. So I'm hearing how he's talking to Ronnie. Well, I'm getting about scared because Nick was livid. So I went in and got my money, and normally I might gripe a little bit about how bad the pay was, right? But I didn't, because Nick was on a roll, and believe it or not, I wasn't ready to argue or fight him. I just wasn't ready. But it was funny because he was giving Ronnie Gossett, boy, the right act. That was something. So there you go.
Well, I'll tell you, and I can remember some of the fairgrounds matches on Wednesday night at the fairgrounds with you, and you could always get Nick going, and it was in a fun way. It wasn't in a negative way at all. You always had fun, and that was the thing I loved about being around you. You always had fun. You're a smart guy, but you always had fun. But you could say something to Nick and just rub him. He could go to 0 to 90 in 2 seconds when you told him something.
Yeah. Do you know where I learned that from? And Jerry Lawler was very instrumental in me getting in the wrestling business. And by that, I mean his character. Back in the day, I used to watch, and I wanted to emulate Jerry Lawler. I absolutely loved his character, and he was the reason I wanted to. And so just the way he had his comebacks and things like that, and then listening to him in the locker room and whatnot. So I picked up some of that stuff, and then, I just kind of incorporated what I needed to do, I guess, So I want to thank the King, Jerry Lawler, for that, because I mean, there's a lot I want to thank him for, because I used to be Jerry's manager. I would drive his town car and drive him all around and everything, and it was great. He would sit in the back seat. He would read his comic books, and then he would drink his Dr. Pepper or whichever it was, and then he never drank alcohol, never smoked cigarettes, nothing. But I had to drive the car at 100 miles an hour. That's just the way it was, because he would always be an hour late, and I'd be waiting on him. He'd be an hour late, and then I'd have to drive 100 miles an hour to get us to the town. But that went on for a while, and then I think once Andy Kaufman came in, and I was there the night that Lawler, gave Andy Kaufman the pile driver, and you remember the ambulance came in. Well, I nudged Jerry and says, "Hey, get the microphone and tell the fans that maybe he should call a taxi instead of an ambulance." And so did that, and man, the house came down, And then shortly after that, Jimmy Hart came in and took over the managerial job, which I was fine with. Had no problem whatsoever, because I really wanted to be an in-ring performer. I wanted to be a wrestler, and I mean, I loved being Lawler's manager. It was great. I learned a lot just from listening, the stories and stuff that he would tell. But I really wanted to be an in-ring performer. That was what I really wanted to do.
Danny, as your career went on, and I know you wrestled in the Southeastern quite a while, Linda Marks, who you probably remember. In fact, I think you and I have had some conversations about the late.
I was engaged. I was engaged to Linda. Yes, I know her.
I would okay. She was very fond of you. I know that, in working with her and doing her announcing with Wrestle Birmingham, and we lost Linda earlier this year. But
sadly,
one of the things that I've always wanted to ask you, and I listened to Jimmy and talked to Jimmy several times, have met up with him a couple of times. The one thing is the chemistry between you and Jimmy. When you guys decided to open up OVW, that chemistry was very, very special. And, as territories go, you guys had a pretty daggum good run there in Louisville, which has always been a hotbed for wrestling.
Yeah. I actually first started OVW in 1993, in March of 1993. And Jimmy was working for Vince McMahon, at WWF at the time. And I think so 5 years later, he it's when he got involved. I'd already had it up and running, and had already trained a whole bunch of guys, and so Jimmy came in, and because I actually was doing a TV show at the time, and so Jimmy came in, and he kind of he set everything up with Jim Ross for us to be the developmental territory for WWF at the time, because we were running shows and everything. So and that's how it got started. And then one thing led to another, and it blossomed, it grew. And so for almost 10 years, OVW trained, the majority of the talent. I think we had like 115 to 125 guys and gals who left OVW and went to WWF. So that was quite to me, that was quite an accomplishment, something I'm very proud of. And most of those guys, a lot of them, they're still in touch with me. I saw some of them on the chat there, the Johnny Jeters and Pope, and I mean just several of them, So it was really, it's a good thing to be remembered and not lost in the shuffle.
Danny, I want you real quickly to talk just briefly about the bus rides that the wrestlers had. I was on several of them between Dallas and Memphis, and I mean those were the fun days. But you talk about a camaraderie.
Yeah.
The great thing about those rides were I always got the feeling when we got to Dallas or in the next day when we got to Memphis that everybody was on the same page. Some of them may not have slept the night before, but when
We
you
didn't.
got to TV, but when it was one of those things that, and I can remember waking up at 3:00 or 3:30 in the morning, stopping in Texarkana, and Tojo asking me to go get him some pork rinds every
Yeah.
Friday night. But it was a special time. And wrestlers now, and what I've been around now from back in the day when boys came in and made it around the dressing room and shook hands and ribbed each other and had some fun. Now it's like they walk in with briefcases. Their girlfriends or their wives are either in the next dressing room or sometimes in that dressing room. And it doesn't seem to have that same, I'm going to use the word spirit, that those days had.
I think you chose a good word, the spirit there. Yeah, it's a good word. Yeah, Waylon Jennings tour bus. That was we would meet in those of us in Memphis, whatever town we were coming from, we would meet in, if it was a Kmart parking lot, and we would all pile on that bus. It'd be what, like 8 or 10, maybe 12 of us, everybody from Steve Austin, I mean, before he was Stone Cold. And we would all, and there were some female wrestlers that was, also on there. I can't
Miss
get into
Texas.
names there, because
Miss Texas was on that bus a bunch.
Oh, that's why I'll
was-
let you drop a name. I'll let you drop a name. But anyhow, yeah, and it was nothing ever happened because it was Jerry made that perfectly clear on the onset, and so but it was just, I mean, guys were guys and girls were girls, and the stories that were told, and the talking about the matches, because we used to tape shows for ESPN, Sportatorium down there, as you well know, and so we would, for the most part, we kind of knew who we were going to be, paired up against, and then we had the option to whether or not we wanted to, talk to the guys or not, and a lot of us seasoned guys didn't have to talk to anybody. We knew what we were going to do and just go out and do it, and but a lot of the new guys, and Steve Stone Cold was he was one of, I don't want to say a green guy, but he didn't have a lot of experience. But so we're in the dressing room. Steve Austin comes in, and I'm wrestling him that night, right? And he says, "Okay, boss, what are you going to do?" And I said, "I don't know. You're calling it." And he said, "What?" I said, I don't know. You're calling it." He goes, "What?" He said, I've never called a match. I can't do that." I said, "Yeah, you can." He says, "Well, what if I mess up?" I said, "I'll fix it. Don't worry about it." So I was the first guy to let Stone Cold call his own match. So, and it turned out pretty well.
Absolutely.
The first thing I want to say is
But
that I want to say that last week we had the Spellbinder on here, and he did the same thing Danny did. He talked about all the Hall of Fame inductees, and the first word that he said when we saw the Danny Hall of Fame plaque was teacher, and basically that's what Danny Davis did. Not a lot of time left in the show. What I want to do, Danny, I want to go back to 1981. I know this is a bunch of trouble. This is the first family barbecue as we watch right now.
Oh, okay.
first, I want to thank you, I think, for letting me come to the First Family's clan meeting here,
come on,
Jimmy.
man.
I
Don't
asked you for permission.
decency over here, right? Well, they can't get in the family. You can't get in the family, baby.
Here, well, wait a minute. Now, let me tell you what I had on my mind. I was thinking the other day that
Hey, wait just a minute. Before you can come to a family meeting, you got to get comfortable, and you look pretty
wait.
You look pretty comfortable.
I didn't come over here to be harassed.
You need to come over. Hey, wait, there you go.
All right, okay, now come on. Will you move down there?
I'm not moving anywhere. You tell him.
Let me let me just a second. Let me tell you why I
All
came.
right, a meeting come to order.
Meeting come to order. Okay.
All right.
I was thinking the other day about the fact that we have had opportunities for the fans to write in and say, yeah, I'd like to see this match and that match. Okay, just hold it a minute, Wayne. The promoters every week.
Here, take some, darling.
Okay, do you mind if I just not drink it right now? I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure. The promoters every week have the opportunity to make the matches that they're interested in seeing, and sometimes I know that you guys do not particularly care for the matches that are booked by the promoters in there. But the thing that in all the years that I've been around commentating on wrestling, I have never known the wrestlers to express an opinion on what kind of match they would like to have. Say what would be like a dream match, if you guys. So what I want you to do is to take just a minute to think about it, and then I want to ask you about what your dream match would be.
Well, first of all, I don't need a minute to think about a dream match, Lance Russell, because there's only one dream match that I want, and that would be with Roy Rogers, that young, dumb punk that don't need to be in the wrestling business anyway, and if there's any way I could get rid of him, it would be in a dream match, and I would completely get you out of the country, out of everything, out of the ring, out of anything you ever wanted to be in, Roy Rogers, because for one thing, boy,
Beautiful, baby.
do you make me sick? I hate your
Go, baby. Beautiful, beautiful.
All right, the Boston Battler, Muscle Man Kevin Sullivan.
Danny, I don't know if you're aware, Kevin Sullivan passed away last week.
Lance, I'd like to say
Yes, yeah, I heard that. Sad news.
I'm glad you loosened up. You know, later on we got somebody coming out and cake for you, but forget about that now. You know, I've thought about this a lot, you know. I got a guy here that's been a thorn in my side, Dutch Mantell. And I don't have to tell you, because everybody out there and everybody knows here how he's ran for me, how he's hit for me, that shell-shocked idiot. I can't get him to stand still one time. I know, thank you, Lance, because you're here on our family grounds. The boys will tell you, isn't he afraid of me?
Yeah.
See, unanimous. Yeah, that's scared to death. And as everybody in this area knows, I'm probably the king of the battle royal. D-King. Thank you, James. So I was thinking was this. A battle royal, someone always gets hurt in a battle royal. And I was thinking, I'm not going to sell Dutch Mantell short because I figure he's a tough and worthy opponent. So I thought, so that he wouldn't run in a battle royal if I got the toughest men in the country in the ring together, it'd be fair, because you know what I want to be, Lance, is I want to be fair. Yeah. And especially to a guy like Dutch Mantell, who doesn't deserve it, I'm going to be a little fair. Yeah. Well, so my dream would be a battle royal consisting of the shell-shocked idiot himself, Dutch Mantell, as you said, the Boston Battler, and then I'd like to have the pretty boy, Wayne Ferris, in the ring.
All right.
Yay!
All right, baby.
All right. I'd like to have Nightmare number 1.
Yes, sir.
Got him. And let's not forget Nightmare number 2.
We can arrange it. It.
And the reigns of the First Family, James Raymond Hart III.
All right.
And there, he wouldn't have a chance to run. He wouldn't have a chance to hide.
That's it?
That's it. That's fair, square.
Mantell against the First Family of professional wrestling.
Well, you see, it wouldn't be against the First Family. It'd be a battle royal.
Hey,
it'd be fair.
It's your dream. Kevin Sullivan, this is your dream. Let's get one of the Nightmare number 1 down here. Let's get him in here and find out from him what his dream match would be.
Wait a minute. Let me talk to him. I do the talking. Come here, darling. Come here.
Well, here we go with the Jimmy Hart Fabulous Ventriloquism Act. He does all the talking for the Nightmares, and so he is getting the translation. Can you translate for us, James?
I'm going to try to. What have we got in this punch here, man? This is great. Let me tell you something. All right, this is what my Nightmare number 1 wants. He wants a handicap match with a dream machine. Very simple, and it works like this. Nightmare number 1 and Nightmare number 2 against the dream, with one stipulation, of course, that when they beat him, then he'll unmask himself. Yeah. Can you imagine him unmasked, a big, fat, ugly, big pig? Can you believe that?
A handicap match
right.
with the Nightmares against the Dream. They
right.
put up their mask. He puts up theirs. He puts up his mask.
Excuse me, you misunderstood me. I think you're the one drinking the punch. Listen, their mask is not at stake. His mask is at stake. The Dream Machine's mask. That's the stipulation.
One mask
right.
at stake. Yeah. Okay.
Isn't that beautiful?
Let's get Nightmare number 2. Are you going to do the translation for Nightmare number 2? So Jimmy Hart now, and you notice how he's moving his strings, the mouth goes, and nothing comes out till the translation comes. All right. Nightmare number 2's dream match.
You won't believe this. This is the most heartwarming thing that's ever happened to me in my professional career of wrestling. You will not believe what this man just said to me.
What did he say, Jim?
Lance, he just told me that his dream would be mine. Anything that I want is what this man wants because he loves me. I'm the greatest thing to ever happen in his life. Thank you.
You're the greatest thing that ever happened in
Okay, so Nightmare number 2 has no dream. We've gotten the First Family's dreams in there, and we appreciate the opportunity to...
Wait a minute. Excuse me. Well, you didn't ask me about my dream, baby. My dream. What about my dream?
Yeah, like it or not, I'm going to get Jimmy Hart's
Because if
dream.
he gets a dream and he's going to give it to me, then I want my dream.
Okay, Jimmy, what would your dream match be?
Excuse me. This is my dream. This is my dream, baby. I want to get Jerry Lawler into the ring. I want to get him in a boxing glove match. I want him to have boxing gloves on, baby, because you know in high school, who was the #1 professional boxer? Non-professional, but I call myself professional in high school, Jimmy Hart. Who won Golden Gloves? Jimmy Hart, baby. Come on, tell it like it is.
I'm not telling anything.
Fight it too, but the referee kept on stepping on his head.
Let me tell you, this is mine. I would like to get Jerry Lawler in the ring. He's got boxing gloves. What's in that punch over? I want to get him in the ring with boxing gloves on, #1. #2, I want 2 special referees, which would, of course, be the Boston Battler.
I'll do it, James. I'll do it.
And last but not least, the pretty boy, Wayne Ferris. 2 special referees. You got it, darling. 2 special referees, Lawler in boxing gloves, but I want the Southern Heavyweight Championship belt put up. For this reason, Lance Russell, Jerry Lawler came out here on TV and he told everybody, boy, Jimmy Hart, you've done the greatest thing in the world for me because bringing in the Hulk, and he beat the Hulk. He beat Jack Briscoe, Dory Funk, Terry Funk, Jimmy Valiant, Austin Idol, I can go on. Well, that moved Lawler up in the rankings, right? Well, baby, if he has that match with me, then I'll win the match. And then he'll be down at the bottom again. Look at this, 18 each arms, Lawler. Look at this, 18 inch, baby. Look at these biceps. Look at this body. Look at it. That's your deal, baby. Lawler, can you take it, baby? Boxing gloves, Southern Heavyweight title shot match, plus, last but not least, my special referees, Sullivan and Ferris, baby. Come on, Lawler. Come on and get it, baby.
Boy, that is a dream, I got to tell you. Okay. Your typical fun-loving American family, and so as we say adieu to the First Family of professional wrestling.
I wanted to ask Danny this question because David Oswald told me this morning, and people are asking where this was. Was this recorded at Jimmy Hart's backyard, Danny?
Yes. It says it was recorded at Jimmy Hart's backyard. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Yes,
okay.
Sir. When's the last time?
That was awesome footage. Haven't seen that since it aired.
Oh my goodness, that is crazy. We'll save as we're close to the end of the show, and we'll have final questions from Pat and Michael. But I wanted to do a quick takes, real quick takes as we go through these quickly. Your memories of being Sergeant Danny Davis, managing the Blonde Bombers, and being involved in the Tupelo concession stand brawl. Quick take on that.
Wow, brother! All I can say is that Tupelo, Mississippi, the fans there believed everything. And brother, when that Tupelo concession stand brawl broke out and it got wild and crazy, it was all we could do to contain the fans in there because they were coming after us as well. It was probably one of the first times anything like that has ever taken place in Memphis, in the Memphis wrestling. It was Tupelo, Mississippi, and brother, let me tell you something. It was scary because those fans back in the day, they had knives, they had whatever, so it was exhilarating and scary at the same time. Glad to be a part of it.
The other question, or the next part in your career, speak of, and we mentioned this briefly earlier, it was Andy Kaufman, Jerry Lawler, I believe it was October of 1982, Danny Davis in the corner, babyface manager of Jerry Lawler, and one of the most, it hit worldwide news. Your quick take of Lawler and Kaufman, and you were right there at ringside.
Yes, it was quite an experience. I mean, Kaufman had so much heat; it was unbelievable. Jerry was obviously the top baby face, and Kaufman just knew how to egg him on. But it was a hospital match or something. But it ended up being Jerry Lawler pile driving Andy Kaufman, and then an ambulance coming in and taking him to the hospital. And I think I told this earlier, but. As the ambulance was coming in, I nudged Lawler and says, "Hey, maybe we should call a taxi," because Andy Kaufman was a star on the TV show Taxi. So I said, and so Lawler did that. The house came down, and it was just great. And Andy Kaufman, he played the part. He was so kayfabe. He never told any of his Hollywood friends anything. He wore the neck brace for so long. I mean. This guy was phenomenal, and he was a wonderful, wonderful man, and it was my honor to be part of that angle.
Next question is, tell me about the guy named the Jaguar and Danny Davis's experience with the Jaguar and how that happened.
Well, I think what happened was Tiger Mask had retired in Japan, and then something I don't know if it was Lawler or who. Anyway, my mom used to make all of our a lot of the guys' costumes, and my mom, I had her to create this mask. I love Tiger Mask's work, and so I had her to create a mask, and I just called it the Jaguar. Now I could not do the moves that Tiger Mask could do, but it was something that Lawler wanted to do, and so we actually did a video, about a minute video, and had the I forget what the song was. Anyhow, it was the Jaguar was me, but he was also Ken Wayne in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and part of Atlanta, I think. So we got to double up on that one. It was good. I'm not sure, but I think I still have a costume somewhere. Or one of my kids, I don't know if my daughter April has it or my son Dwayne, and it could be Sherry, my daughter. I don't know, but I actually don't have any of my gear. I don't have any memorabilia or anything. So it's crazy.
Okay, one last thing is Danny Davis as the American Eagle, and your tag team.
Oh my,
American Eagle.
Yes. That was, what? I really loved the American Eagle gimmick. It was, it was just at a time where it fit, And again, my mom, God rest her soul, she made all the costumes, and they were great costumes. She made great masks. And working with Bill, it was hard for Bill because I can't remember if Bill did a loser leave town. I can't remember what it was, but Bill could not get used to wearing a mask. There was just something about it that Bill just could not get used to wearing a mask. I was comfortable with it simply because, I wore masks for the majority of my career. I wanted the anonymity, because I had a family and I didn't want any harm to come to them. So I kind of hid my face for a lot of my career.
Now, one last thing I want to ask you. There's a part of the Danny Davis story very important with the teaching part and you making young talents. I have one more video. This might make us go about 5 minutes over. Danny, I think it's important to show this video. Are you cool with going a little overtime here? One more video. Can you do that?
Hey, yeah, my wife hasn't said, hey, get off the, the thing. So I'm good, I'm good.
This is a 9-minute video. This is Danny Davis in his probably last run. Brian Christopher in the little red, Brian Christopher in his little red wagon. You take it from here, Danny.
I cannot remember. I don't know if that was 91, 92. I don't remember. But three. Yeah. Yeah, Brian went out to get the wagon to use on me, but I turned it around and drop kicked him, and as he was getting ready to hit me with the wagon, and he took a shot to the head and went down. That is it's a pretty good thing. I think, if I'm not mistaken, is this I want to say this is where Brian Christopher wears a chicken suit. I'm not sure because, like I said, I haven't seen this for so many years. Maybe not.
Keep watching. Keep watching. The name of this video is Brian Christopher is the Chicken.
Okay, then it made. Oh man, I can't believe you have all this footage. It's just awesome.
That's why we need to get you into YouTube, Danny.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. That's amazing.
Dave Channel in Massachusetts says he is your biggest fan in South Shore, Massachusetts.
Oh wow! What a nice compliment.
What do you think will happen here, Danny? Do you remember?
I do not remember.
He was the triple champion, but
I do not remember.
You know, Dave, I usually come out here, like I've said before, I'm all smiles. I'm happy to be here. All these people are happy to see me. You get excited. Corey gets excited. And it's all happy. It's happy times when I come out here. But you know, every now and then, there's some people that ticks me off. They get under my skin. Just like, I got a perfect example. Just like handsome Jimmy Valiant. You know, I beat him for this belt. Just like Tom Pritchard, who I beat for this belt. And now there's another one on my list, and his name is Nightmare Danny Davis. The Nightmare Danny Davis, the world junior heavyweight champion. He came in here. First week he was here, he put his belt on the line against me. And just like I've done before, I'll take your belt. I'm a belt collector, you understand? Ever since I got in this sport, that's what I do best. I win championships. I get the extra money, you understand? And now, Danny Davis, you stole the belt away from me. You stole it. You stole it. You cheated me just like everybody else.
Such talent.
Just like this promotion.
So talented.
You cheated me. So what I'm telling you.
Did you know that from day one, Danny?
It's supposed to be a title match. A title match. So what I want to do right now.
After I made him fight me for real in Memphis, Tennessee, yes, I did. That's another story.
It's a title match because I want the belt. I want the world heavyweight title.
Well, here he comes. He doesn't have to come out here and talk to you. He doesn't have to give you a title shot. But Danny Davis doesn't back up from folks, anybody, including you.
I still have my Ribero's jacket.
What is it you're
All right.
Come on, be blunt. Why don't you tell everybody exactly what you're thinking? What do you want?
Danny Davis, everybody knows that last week you got in the ring and you cheated me and stole my belt.
Everybody knows that I beat you. Everybody knows that I beat you, Brian Christopher.
That belt you got around your waist is my belt, and this week is supposed to be a title match for me to take back what's rightfully mine, and so I want a title match.
First of all, this is not your belt. Second of all, this is not my belt. This is the people's belt. Do you understand? And it certainly doesn't belong around the waist of somebody like you. And it's not a title match. It's a grudge match. You know why? Because you don't like me and I don't like you. That's why it's a grudge match. And that's why you don't need a title shot, Brian Christopher.
To sum it all up, I guess what you're trying to say, what you're actually trying to say, Danny Davis, is what you're laboring over is he's scared. No, he's a chicken. I'm not scared. I want to mess with the belt. You're the chicken. You're the crybaby. Everybody calls me a crybaby. I've never cried. Do you see any tears in my eyes? You're the one that won't put the belt on the line.
What will you do? What will you do for a title shot?
Whatever it takes. I'll do, except, hey, whatever it takes, except my hair. My hair's, no, don't touch my hair. Whatever else it takes, I'll do it.
Anything, no matter what it is, except your hair.
Anything but my hair.
Hey, I'd like to get promoter Eddie Marlin out here. If Eddie Marlin's back there, I'd like to come out here. Here's Eddie. Brian Christopher wants a return title shot, and he says he will do anything except put up his hair for a return title match. Now, if you'll get him to sign a contract stating that he will do anything except put up his hair, I will give him a return title match this week.
Always keep the contract pending, young man. Just sign your name. Here's a pen, Ed.
Hey, Dave, I got to leave for a moment. I'll be right back because I'm going to sign that too. I'll be right back.
All right, Danny is, Danny's agreed to it. You got to sign it, though.
So the belt will be on the line, right? Huh?
Anything goes except your hair. You agree to anything except your hair.
The belt is mine. It ain't for my hair.
Anything but your hair.
What's today's date?
Today is the 17th. All right.
Now make him sign it. They put the belt's on the line.
It's on the line. Anything goes except his hair is not at stake.
Hey, what's in the box?
I don't know.
Hey, what's in the box? Now, I didn't come out here to start anything. What's in the box? What do you got?
Are you scared of snakes?
You said anything goes but the hair. You've just signed it.
I'm not scared of snakes.
Are you scared of skunks? Because you sure smell like one.
You better watch your mouth, but I'm not scared of skunks either. Snakes or skunks, and I don't care.
Okay. Mr. Marlin, he said anything goes. Well, this is what you've got to do to get that title shot this week. You got to put those feet on your wrestling boots.
Chicken feet.
No, what is this?
You got to put this chicken
Oh, my God.
over your body.
What
But you know what?
such
the best for last.
good memories. This is awesome.
You've got to put this over that ugly face of yours. You got to get dressed just like the chicken you are in the dressing room. And
No. So what it is, hey, the loser puts on a chicken suit, right?
What you've got to do, you've got to put this on in the dressing room. You've got to wear it to the ring and keep it on in the ring.
No way. No, that's
Okay.
it.
Wait. Just let me tell you one thing. I'll be real calm, cool, and collected. You can either do that or you can leave because you will be suspended because you signed the contract.
Hey, no. How am I supposed to wrestle with a chicken suit on, huh?
Oh, guys, this is awesome. This is such good stuff.
No, Eddie Marlin, no.
Mark from Kentucky, I see it. Hey, you're welcome. It's my pleasure coming back and reliving some of the old wonderful memories.
Danny, do you remember whose idea this was?
And that's.
I do not remember whose idea it was.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Do you remember what?
Do you know whose
idea?
idea?
I guess you think you outsmarted
No,
me,
I
huh,
wasn't
Danny
there
Davis,
then.
huh?
I wasn't there
Well, I
yet.
tell you what. I signed the contract.
It was either 91 or 92. Can't remember.
But I tell you what, I will beat that Danny Davis within an inch of his life, and I'll take back the belt with the stinking chicken suit on, or whatever.
All right.
So now get me somebody in this ring because I'm serious. I'm going to kill somebody. I wish I had Danny Davis in this ring right now, but I tell you what, whoever's in here, I'm going to break their neck. I'm going to break their neck.
There's somebody in the ring.
All right, that was fantastic, Pat. One last comment to Danny.
That's awesome.
Davis. Yeah, awesome. Pat, one last comments to Danny.
Just Danny, I'm just looking so forward to seeing you on the 21st, and you know you have you've obviously met the world of Memphis wrestling and well deserved Hall of Famer, but I tell you you've crossed the paths of so many of the territories that I grew up watching in Continental and WCW.
Thank you.
And just really, really excited that you spent the last couple of hours with us, and look forward to seeing you in Jackson.
Thank you, Pat. That was awesome. I appreciate your comments, and that was wonderful for me to relive some of the things that I did, and I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, sir.
Michael St. John, your last question or comment from the Nightmare.
Well, first of all, Danny, it will be great seeing you not in a sad situation. I did have a chance to see you quickly at Jerry Jarrett's funeral, but to see you,
Yep.
But let me tell you what is very warm to my heart, to even be mentioned, not only to be inducted into the same class that you are into the Memphis Hall of Fame, but for my name to even be mentioned alongside of Danny Davis and the other great inductees, Tom and the rest, Dirty White Boy, all of them. It's just mind-boggling to me, and I just want to say to you, thank you for everything you did for me when I was commentating, but also thank you for everything you did for the fans of professional wrestling, literally all over the country. God bless you, Danny Davis. You're a great man, and I'm thrilled to death to say fellow Hall of Famer.
Thank you, Michael. I certainly appreciate it. You deserve it as much as anyone, and I'm looking forward to seeing you Saturday night, September 21st in Jackson, Tennessee. Thank you, my friend.
God bless you, my friend.
All right. I am proud of the fact the first podcast in our talk show in his life, Danny Davis, I love you. Man, this was fantastic. You did great. This has been a fantastic show. But I'm going to ask you to do one favor as we are about to get out of here. I want you to go way back in your drawing money days. I want you to go way back in your promo days. I want you to go way back, Danny. I'm motivating you. I'm trying to get you pumped and fired up. I want you to sell me some tickets for a night to remember the Memphis Hall of Fame and the Lawler and Dudley tribute. I want your last words today on this show to be, I want you to sell me some tickets for September 21st as Danny Davis goes full screen. It's just Danny Davis to sell ORH some tickets for September the 21st. Here's Danny Davis.
Hey, all I got to say is this. I'm coming up to Jackson, Tennessee, my hometown where I grew up, right outside there, a little town called Bemis. I got a lot of friends, I got a lot of family up there. Bottom line is this. If I can drive up from Clearwater, Florida to Jackson, Tennessee, those of you in Jackson can get off your butt. You can come down to the Hall of Fame ceremony. And I'm going to tell you, it's right there, where? 2310 North Highland. And I think for 1 minute, all of you guys, Picture Perfect Event Center, come on down because a night of Hall of Fame induction. Not only am I going to be there, but there's going to be so many very worthy people. The Spellbinder. You're going to see Handsome Jimmy Valiant. You're going to see the Rock and Roll Express. You're going to see Dirty White Boy. You're going to see Tom Pritchard. You're going to see Michael St. John. And you know what? You're going to see PG-13. And you are definitely going to see Jackson, Tennessee's own Nightmare Danny Davis, who's looking forward to Saturday night, September the 21st, Jackson, Tennessee, at the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame. God bless you guys.
And Danny Davis, you're also going to see, obviously, Sir Mo and Terry Golden going into the Hall of Fame. And you do one more promo toward your old tag team partner of the Nightmares, because I want you to sell tickets, but this is your last opportunity to talk David Oswald, in your former Nightmare partner. You got to cut a promo to get him in that building. Here's Danny Davis.
Okay, here's the deal, David Oswald. If you don't get your butt up off the couch, and obviously it's gotten to be wide because I saw you in a picture that Randy held up. Here's the thing. Get your butt to Jackson, Tennessee. Come over there and you see all of the guys that you used to get in the ring with and say hello to everybody. Show us that you still got it. Show us that you still care. We shared our time with you back in the day, and we made money together. So, hey, how about coming over to Jackie and let's talk some stories? How about that? Because I'm looking forward to being there at the Hall of Fame induction ceremony. I mean, who's on the meters that I would be inducted into the Hall of Fame? Not me, but anybody here tonight, it's going to happen. And Terry, let me tell you something, David. If you don't show up, I'm coming back to Jonesboro with Randy. I'm going to find you. And I've always had a stiff punch. One of the things I was noted for. You're going to find out just if you don't show up in Jackson, Tennessee, Saturday night, September 21st, you're going to this.
That's Nightmares Danny Davis, and that's
there we go.
How you sell tickets. When's the last time you did that, Danny?
It's been a few years, but hey, it still comes.
All right,
it still comes.
Danny,
thank you, Randy. I'm looking forward to seeing you, my friend.
All right, love you, and we'll see you the 21st. And I'll call you tomorrow, and then you can tell me how you really feel about this show. But I loved you being here.
Oh, I'd tell you right here. Bottom line, I thought it was great. Other than the audio issues and the lag and stuff, hey, I had a great time. But you know what? Here's the thing I noticed. A lot of people were online. I don't know how many people you normally have to do these, but I had a lot of people on here that I brought. So
yeah,
maybe that caused a crash. Maybe that caused a crash. I don't know.
Yeah, and you drew money. Love you, Danny, and we'll see you the 21st, man. All right.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody. Everybody say goodbye to Danny Davis. I want the last take right now. Last take, sum up everything we've talked about. Here's Pat Trammell for his last take. Hey, Pat.
Great show. I think one of our very best shows. Danny Davis, what a legend in so many different ways in this business. Looking forward to seeing and meeting him in person. On August 21st, I'm unique to us as I feel like I represent the fans because that's all I've ever done in this business. But tell you what, really, really, really enjoyed tonight. Thank you for having him on, Randy.
Final take from Michael St. John after this spectacular show. He may be right. We had a much bigger audience, and that might have blown us out of whack for sure. And Danny obviously not used to broadcasting as far as from home, and so this was a test for him, and I give him an AAA plus. Final take about this show today, Michael St. John.
Fantastic. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of it. You had one of the true great people, not only great wrestlers, but great people all around. The Nightmare Danny Davis, one of the best ever to step foot in the ring. And I'm so looking forward to seeing him on the 21st in Jackson and seeing everybody on the 21st. But God bless Randy, and God bless Danny as well.
You didn't say, Michael, real quick, and we'll get out of here. You left somebody off. You left a big name off, and I'm upset with you. Put Michael St. John, and I'm mad at you now because you're not given the due, and you told me this on Sunday. There's some other very special person coming to Jackson, Tennessee, somebody very near and dear to your heart. I already told you that Bo James is bringing Waylon, his nephew. Tell everybody who's coming to see you get inducted.
Well, Joshua called me Friday afternoon, and he put his mama on the phone, and she said, listen, we're going to Jackson. Joshua has asked me, will I take him to Jackson for this event? And I told him I'm thrilled to death. So, folks, I'm wondering. I'm not going to set up a gimmick table, but maybe you ought to set up one for Joshua. I mean, pictures with Joshua, but he's going to be there. And thank you very much for bringing that up. And by the way, thank you also. Pat Dremel is a fabulous part of this program. Without him, the program's not the same. Pat, love you, brother. But also, let's give some big kudos to Adam Dunn. Adam came into town Sunday. We were able to produce that commercial at Fun Radio. He did a fabulous job. It's always great being around Adam and the passion he has for not only professional wrestling like we all have, but the passion for making the show the best that it can be. Adam, love you, brother, and thank you.
And with that, we'll play the commercial and get out of here. For Pat Trammell, Michael St. John, and Adam Dunn, and a big thank you to Nightmare Danny Davis, who will be rolling into Jackson TWA. Tell all the ladies, handsome dandy Danny Davis on the way, his hometown. I'm Randy Hills. Good night, everybody.
A night to remember, Saturday, September 21st, the Picture Perfect Event Center, Jackson, Tennessee. Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame ceremony comes to Jackson for the first time ever. The Rivalry of the Ages presentation to Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee. Also, Handsome Jimmy Valiant, The Rock and Roll Express, Danny Davis, and tons more. Exclusive meet and greet at 3:30. Event to follow. Go to MemphisWrestlingHallOfFame.com to purchase tickets. Saturday, September 21st, Picture Perfect Event Center, 2310 North Highland, Jackson. A night to remember.
Memphis Wrestling with Randy Hill and special guests.